Now, you've probably already heard about part one of the Angelini inquiry report, which was set up in the wake of Sarah Everard's kidnap, rape and murder by then serving Metropolitan Police Constable Wayne Cousens. An absolutely despicable act of depravity carried out by one of the people we are supposed to trust and seek out when we're in trouble. Well, it turns out that Cousens' predatory pattern of behaviour actually started 20 years before he even stumbled across Sarah Everard that fateful night. In fact, before his career in the police even began, he had been suspected of sexual assault against a child that had only just hit their teenage years. This, along with, sadly, 5 other incidents of sexual offences that had not been reported to police, with Lady Elise Angiolini stating that due to underreporting of sexual offences, she fears there may be even more victims of this animal's offending. Other offences that came to light during the report, among ones already reported on the channel, and I'll link to the playlist up here, include attempting to kidnap a woman at knife point and the rape of 2 other women. But yet, Cousens was allowed to serve in the Metropolitan Police's Diplomatic Protection and Firearms Unit because either at least 3 police forces failed to spot the red flags, or 3 police forces deemed his red flags an asset to them. Thankfully, but also sadly, the complainants came forward after the murder of Sarah Everard, and how I'm sure they wish they had come forward sooner. Kent Police are said to have bungled 2 investigations into Cousens, both for indecent exposure, the first while he served with the Civil Nuclear Constabulary in 2015. The Angiolini report also exposes how Cousens allegedly carried out a very serious sexual assault on a young girl whilst he was in his 20s. He was also accused of attempting to kidnap a woman at knife point in North London back in 1995, was further accused by 2 women of raping them. One of the complainants alleged Cousens attacked her between late 2006 and early 2007 during a singles dating event at an East London bar. The other claimed she was raped by Cousens under a bridge in London in October 2019. In the summer of that year, a man in drag, wearing a blonde wig, claimed that Cousens also inappropriately touched him in a bar in Kent. Along with the assaults on adults and the one mentioned on a young teen, the report says that Cousens also watched indecent images of children, and he's said to have carried out 9 indecent exposure offences, with most of them being carried out whilst he was a serving police constable. He also is said to have shared violent pornographic images or videos on at least 2 occasions with colleagues. By shared, I believe he means shown, as I've not heard of anybody being misconducted for receiving from Wayne Cousens. But I do have to ask why they didn't report him for this, or why the Met failed to act if they did. These are people allegedly sworn to protect us and keep us from harm. Now, this is apparently only the first part of the Angiolini report to be published, and she said that without a significant overhaul, there is nothing to stop another Wayne Cousens operating in plain sight. And I think we already know there was another one, David Carrick, and with the number of predator plot I report on here on the channel, I don't think it's going to be too long before we come across another. In fact, we may have even reported on them already, but previous victims are yet to come forward. Metropolitan Police Commissioner Mark Rowley said in a statement today, "There is nothing we can say to the family of Sarah Everard and all those who loved her that will convey how very sorry we are. Wayne Cousens' crimes were horrific. The fact that he abused his position as a Metropolitan Police officer to carry them out represents the most appalling betrayal of trust. It damages the relationship between the public and the police and exposes long-standing fundamental flaws in the way we decide who is fit to be a police officer and the way we pursue those who corrupt our integrity once they get in. The report published today is an urgent call to action for us, for all of us in policing. We must go further and faster to earn back the trust of all those whose confidence in policing has been shaken by events of recent years. Regardless of our significant progress over the past year, the scale of the change that is needed inevitably means it will take time and it is not yet complete. The majority of my Met colleagues share my determination to reform by both confronting the risk posed by predatory men in policing and also improving our protection of women and children across London." What an absolutely sickening and depraved human being. I mean, I can't call him a man because no man does these things, and I still don't think we've reached the end of his offending. The simple fact is there were many chances to prevent this animal from committing more offences, but time after time the police forces failed to put a stop to it, and their direct inaction resulted in many victims, and poor Sarah Everard simply going about her day, being his last and most fatal victim. Thank you so much for watching this report. I realise that these can sometimes be hard to hear and may upset some of you, but I have to report what I can, and rest assured I do get as upset having to read multiple sources, do my research, write my reports, film them and edit them, so I'm listening to sickening and depraved details sometimes all day long, which does affect me too. So I thank you for sticking with me through this one. Please do consider liking the video, not because you like the content, but you like the fact I've reported it. Please share so that anyone who has yet to hear may learn of these developments. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next.